What is up, honeys? It is KBC, and I'm on KingBritneyChanel, my main channel, you already know, and I'm back with yet another video. So we had an interesting discussion yesterday on, like I said, it was a post that a young lady put up about women somehow passing up on all the good men, and I kind of was debunking this kind of mythical lie that women are gonna somehow hit this invisible wall, kind of really trying to show men that the Most High Yah already said what his whole idea was gonna be for that, because he knew that men were gonna be somewhere. Oh, the modern woman, this woman that you gave me, and then blaming women for everything.
I already know it's your girl KingBritneyChanel.
That the lack of leadership has caused in the community. So he literally said, I'm not, you want me to punish your daughters, you want me to punish your women for these WH-doms, and he's not. So, you know, they're sitting there cheering on, oh, these women are hitting the wall and all this other stuff, because a lot of these men, and it's not all, but a lot of these men, they sit around hurt. They don't get counseling. They don't get healing. You've seen that the reckoning literally has come, where that article, rise of single and lonely men, because a lot of women are literally tired of the fool-la-la. They've been tired, okay? We've been in the same circle with men for the last, I don't know how long, where in the article, Rise of the Single Lonely Man, right, it said that women are looking for healthier relationships. And so these men, they sit around, like I said, in the Manosphere, and they say stuff like, oh, men don't want women with accomplishments, and your accomplishments as a woman don't mean anything. However, what they're missing is that nothing happens without the okay of the Most High Yah saying so, right? Because they always like to go back to, you know, back in the day when your grandmother just had to get whooped on and couldn't say nothing, when she had to tolerate your grandfather's cheating behind down the block with a single family up the street that you didn't know about, you know, you thinking that those was just your friends and those was really your cousins and them, or your cousin, brother, sister, them. So, like I was saying, all of these myths that they have or whatever for women, and it all boils down to, because you cannot talk about the symptoms and stuff in the community and you don't talk about what the issue is. And the issue is the lack of leadership. The issue is that they hearken to the voice of the woman and not the voice of Yah. They did not follow Torah. Torah was first given to a man. That man was Edom, blood of the soil. They didn't follow it. And they continue to participate in stuff that further led them into the situation that we in now. And because it's like, listen, I thought about it, y'all. I talked about the music and that being a cause of what was going on. And then I just was listening to music today. All you got to do, right, if you want to listen to the influence of the men on these so-called modern women, because they don't want to take accountability to the fact that they are the cause of modern women. The Most High Yah clearly set it up when I showed y'all in Hosea with the scripture that you're begging me to punish these women, because it's a lot of Israelite men that do this, y'all, where they sit around and they kind of just they're wishing for the downfall of women because they have inferiority complexes. But also, if you was a real like man, a man of valor, all of this stuff on the male side and the woman's side will be appalling to you, and you just would want to really be seeking order all the way around. And we know that if the head is out of order, then the rest of the body is going to follow. That means the wives, the daughters, the sisters, cousins, all that, children, all of that is going to follow. And when you listen to the music, like what these dudes is talking about they want to do to a girl, or what they want the girl to do. Like I was listening to the song by Usher and Juicy J, and Shawty, I don't. That song, I don't mind, right? If you if you dance on a what? That don't make you a HOE. So all of this is men putting out these songs, right? I'm like, yo, and it's like, it's crazy because they are literally sitting over there on their high horse, like they did not create what they call modern women. And then on even the flip side of that, I showed y'all where you now have confused women trying to take accountability for something that has nothing to do with them. Ma'am, like I said, it probably is a small percentage of women that was probably just on some stupid stuff where, yeah, they encountered a good guy and whatever. But 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10 though, that's not the case, right? Because it's a lot of myths that they come up with. Oh my God. The myth, oh, women are not attracted to the artistic nerd. Women are not attracted to nerds. And we know that is a bold-faced lie. It's a lie. And honestly, like I told y'all during one of my story times, that so-called nice guys are really F-boys in disguise, right? Because a lot of people, see, they do the Tyrone and the Brad stuff, but they not really going to tell you. You know what to expect from a Brad and a Tyrone, right? Because you know, like a lot of times the Brads and the Tyrones, they're going to really be upfront about, or you're going to hear about their reputation, so you know how to maneuver and you know what to expect. But the nerd, see, I'm going to tell y'all something. Because when I was in college and high school, dudes would just put me up on game. And it's true, if you have brothers, they'll put you up on game about what I'm about to say to you. There's nobody nicer than a guy that is trying to get you out those. I don't believe in nice guys. I really don't. It's like, what is your angle, right? I can't determine if you're nice just because you're, oh, you said hello today, you greeted or whatever, and then the entitlement. Like, I'm not giving you a smile just because you exist or whatever. If I feel compelled to be smiley in that moment, I will. But we have seen these videos where women have been minding their business, going to places like the gas station, and entitled men, they're playing the so-called nice guy, right? And they're just acting real on some bugged out type of time toward women, and then they add the stamp, oh, well, I'm a nice guy and this girl just rejected me because I'm a nice guy. Maybe you're not a nice guy. I feel like most of the guys that claim that they're nice guys are not really nice guys. They're guys that are trying to maneuver or slimy with an angle. That's what I personally feel. That's what I personally have come to find. And most of those guys, I'm gonna tell you, even if you be nice to a nice guy, a so-called nice guy, right? Like, okay, it's obvious stuff that girls take into consideration. Like, a guy, because women are emotional. So women might talk to a guy that they like, that make them feel nice, right? Or a guy that is not necessarily attractive, but he's a comedian. We see this all the time. So we're not going to act like attractive women will not talk to some of these guys that are not all of that when it comes to looks. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to act like that, right? Prime example of this. Like, you seen, like, B.I.G., and the women that he was pulling or whatever, and like necessarily probably off the top, he wasn't probably making mad money off the top. It was that mouthpiece that was getting them women to talk to him. Like, him being probably comedic and funny was getting women to talk to him. So the whole notion that, women just are out here just rejecting these guys or these so-called good guys. I'm going to tell y'all, as a girl or a woman who has been to college, them guys that you think is nice, that have the degrees, all of that, they worse than the hood type of dude. I'm telling you. Because they, in their mind, feel like they're up here, and because our community, the standards is so low level, them doing the basics, because in other communities it's considered basics. Like, okay, you went to school, whatever, it's basics. Like, they expect, in the other communities, they expect you to, be a plus student. You need to be the valedictorian. You need to be the top of the class. You need to be the best in the East Coast of the country or the West Coast of the country. Whatever. You feel what I'm saying? Them parents be focused on their kids' scholarships and stuff from the time they're little. So the basic accomplishments that, be in the melanated community, oh, you a good dad, you want a cookie. Oh, you got a degree, you got a cookie. Oh, you don't have no kids, you want a cookie. Like, those are like standards for other communities, right? Like, standard. So the guys that they're trying to claim is the ones that's the good guys really do not be the good guys. Like, from that post, like, the Manosphere got these dudes just coming up with all kind of excuses to evade what the true problem is. Like, that's why I said I like watching Dr. Jordan Peterson, because he talked about the issues, and there's other men that I feel like I've seen in the Manosphere that have talked about men needing to work on certain areas of themselves to get the type of women that they want, and also accepting that you may not attract a certain type of woman because that's not your speed. And then when you have to deal with the so-called nice guys that they want, them girls that are because a lot of the girls that were so-called attractive in the high school setting because they matured early or whatever, them girls don't even be looking at all of that by the time them guys be an adult. And then them guys be sitting there looking at them girls at that time period. They rejected them at that time period, or their mind was focused on the other popular guy that was on their speed at the time. And so now we got to hear about that over and over and over instead of them getting counseling and then moving on from that. Prime example, like I told y'all, if y'all look at my narcissist story time, where how I survived a narcissist and how I overcame that situation, it was a guy that I was friends with, and the guy was not popular. He was a nerd. And at the time, I was a nerd also, so it wasn't really a big deal to me. Like most women, I turned into a beautiful butterfly, as high school kind of ended out, because I feel like Abaya hid me during the high school years to evade trouble. You feel me? So after I got out of high school, into college, it was the glow. it was big glow. Okay? So the guy, I still knew him. I was friends with him. I talked to him and we were cool, but I think his whole main objective is he was rejected by women that were out of his league. I'm talking about looks wise. I'm talking about probably accomplishment wise. He was rejected by those type of women. And yeah, some of those women were mean, but they were out of his league. You have to bat in your league. And that's what Dr. Jordan Peterson was talking about on one episode that he was on the Roommates podcast. I felt like it was so good because men hold on to stuff longer than they should. Just like it's some women that do that too, but that's not the majority of women. Because a guy in my comment section, he got in my comment section and he was saying, oh, the 304 type of, or the women in the hood. No, he said the women in the hood. Correction. The women in the hood will reject dudes, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, every woman is not from the hood. Every woman is not a 304. Every woman has not had the same upbringing or same type of rearing as other types of women. So this is the games that they play, right? And this is why I busted out that lie where I said, you lying. Because if you did not want those type of modern women, you would not even be paying attention to those women. You paying attention to them because you really want them. You really want a 304. You really want them women on go. You really want those type of women. You can't stop looking at the content that they putting out. You make those women rich, and then you want to cry about it like other women want to hear about that, bro. If you didn't want that type of woman, bro, that would not be coming across your timeline on the Instagram, YouTube, and the rest of that stuff, because you would be looking at women that are doing more with themselves. If you constantly coming across the same type of woman, it's you. Just the same way I would say to a female. If you constantly coming across the same type of dude, then it's characteristics in you that's attracting that. So if you attracting modern women, you a modern man. You can't be modern and then be talking about a woman is modern. If you want a traditional woman, you got to be a traditional man, and vice versa. Period. You can't be complaining out here and then trying to get, like, you know, group all women together and then coming up with this lie that, oh, all women just reject good guys that would have married them for guys that would have made them single baby mothers. Most guys, and I'm telling y'all this because I'm young enough to say it but old enough to say it too. Most of the guys that you say is on good guy type of time, they're trying to crash out. Period. Especially if they was not really getting no play, probably like in high school and in college, or if they, you know, when they made it to college, they had the big glow type of moment. Those dudes are trying to crash out. They're not trying to. They go through it's like a crisis stage. So because they never experienced nothing or it never was cultured, they want to try as many assortments as they can. They're not trying to make anybody their wife. Period. They feel like they are, and I told y'all, they view themselves as upper echelons for bare minimum that other men in other communities, that's just the standard. So you have pick Mishas like the, you know, just they have this ideology like the girl from the post. Oh, we are so sorry that we chose guys that would have married us. Ma'am, let's talk about the reality of the situation. There's a judgment on the men. The men are getting plucked off like flies. Like, I'm not sure, like, there's like 7 women to 1 man if we're looking at the numbers for that. So, ma'am, how many women are really coming across so-called good guys if they're either going on to the glory or in the lockup? Which is like, and in the small percentage that is going, they're not even dating in the community. So we got this as women, stop with the emotionalness. And I know where it comes from, because it comes from you wanting to please a man, and you're thinking that if you just say all this stupid stuff, it's going to get him to want you. They gotta love theyself first before they could want you. They gotta love the Most High before they could love you. You can't expect crooked men in their heart that chase after, like I told you, WH-doms to have a covenant with you when they not even faithful to the Most High. That should say a lot about them. That's why they in the state that they in. Where's the lie? Oh, where is the lie? Oh, where's the lie? They could sit there and say all day, women is this, that, and the third. Okay, where she got it from? Who was the follow the leader? Simon Says. Who she got it from? Because all of these weird songs, Get It For Real, Bust It For Real, all of this stuff, all of that BBL dance club culture came from the rappers. All of this sideline culture came from the rappers. Okay, Mistresses been in since the way past. So where's this culture coming from? It's time to stop always trying to get the lady and address the lady and the man that's in you know, infractions is being made. That this is making infractions. That's what I want to say. Like, we can't always be like, oh, okay, like, the women are not the leaders of the community. I don't care what y'all try to say, they are not. By default, we had to protect ourselves and raise up because the men was in the situations that they were in. So, you know, run this game, oh, she masculine and the rest of this, because you whine too much. You whine too much. You cry too much. You should have spent more time with your daddy, but your daddy wasn't home. Your daddy was chasing all this, I would say, gladiator culture. Read between the lines. But, yeah, that's basically my thoughts. Like, I don't really know how you could really refute what I said in the last video. Like, all of that was just straight points and straight facts. Like, it ain't what I said, it's what y'all said. He not punishing them because they learned them from you. You've been on the same type of time. You've been on the same type of time, buddy, where y'all been out here doing all modern things yourself. You love, because it say that in Torah, you love the culture of the heathen. And that's why your women is wearing wigs, weaves, and other people's skin tones. They bleaching, they doing all of that stuff because of what you love. They're trying to emulate what you love. You love going to the club in the POLE. And so now all of a sudden that all of the women want to go flock to do that, you got a problem with it. You done ruined it. Say a little leaven will leaven the whole lump. One corrupted apple messes up the whole barrel of apples. So you did it to yourself. Take accountability for yourself. Y'all women, you look silly out here being emotional because you want a man. So you think if you whine and cry, oh men, we are so sorry, you are the king, you are this, that, and the third, that these men is going to feel any type of way. They're not. Baby, they're not. They're not. They're not. They're not. And like I said, let me make a disclaimer. This is not all men that we're talking about, because we know that all men don't fit the stereotype of what I'm talking about. We're talking about the group of men that blame women for everything, so much so that women today, not all, but some, are so desperate for attention that they just write these serenades. Oh, women take accountability. Women don't have the option not to take accountability. If they go mess around and they end up with a kid, they gotta take the kid. Most of the time, the woman is with the kid. Like, probably I would say 99% of the time. It's a small percentage of time where maybe sometimes the woman be off, and the woman could be off with the kid too. But again, that goes into men decide who they give their seed to, who they procreate with. So that's your choice. If you done made somebody a baby mama, oh, that you shouldn't have made a baby mama. Men decide and control access to marriage. And if we really want to be real about it, boo, let's be real about it. In the word, it say, when you take somebody's daughter, you supposed to be held accountable anyway. That's supposed to be one of your wives. Bride thief. There's a lot of bride thieves around here. Bride thief. What you think the Most High think about you? Because you got to think about it. The Most High is the father. His daughters is promised to different men that he have, right? Because you got to choose out of your own tribe, right? Like, we talking about from a biblical perspective, right? You have to take a wife out of the tribe of your fathers. If you reach that, then you already gonna have problems. So you're gonna deal with inheritance issues with that. But this is not, that's for a later video. We just talking facts. You deflower somebody's daughter and have a kid, boy, they would have had where them stones at? Cause you wouldn't be talking to tell the tale. Like, some of the stuff that should be shameful today is not shameful due to the Western culture and mindset. And this is why a lot of these women think it's normal, because they follow in the lead of men doing stuff that they know is not the normal type of thing, or not the morally correct thing to do. And then they want to sit around after they done did all this messing up the community, right, and complain about the results of them being not modest. Because modesty is just not for women. Modesty is the whole thing when you're trying to get yourself right with the Most High. You're fleeing vanity. You're fleeing fornication, right? What is that? What is that, KB? Oh, I'm glad you asked, right? So that's a Latin word. It comes from a Latin word. And basically in that time period, the pros would meet up under a vaulted opening. Like, they got like an arch, a vaulted arch. It literally, that's why it has that in the word, right? And the Torah speaks so much on pride and fleeing from that and all of that, because the men had this problem from the beginning. And when you deal with that, it corrupts everything. I'm telling y'all, if y'all read the Torah, it'll really open up your mind to what's really going on with the people. You'll really see why we deal with the generational curses that we deal with. You thinking that certain things is genetics, and it really don't be. You thinking that you just going through, like with most men, a lot of men, they deal with stuff like poverty. They don't know it's because they not disciplined when it come to women. But you ain't say nothing. You ain't say but a word. They don't know that they deal with that because in the eyes of Yah, they a bride thief, and therefore they deal with poverty because of that. You better go repent and renounce that stuff. I'm telling y'all. They talk a lot about these women, but don't really want to get into being a leader and teaching women Torah like they supposed to properly. And then women see you living a certain way, they're gonna want to follow, because women do what they see. They go after what they think men want, and that's just the facts. These women would not be wearing silky lace wigs and the rest of that stuff if they did not see you looking at women with the silky wigs and you wasn't online constantly saying how you want them over them. They would not be doing all of this stuff. And a lot of women might say, oh, well, we're not doing it because of that. Well, hey, listen, you got to tell yourself whatever you got to tell yourself to make it through. But let's be honest. If you had more imagery of people telling you that your woolly coils and stuff was popping, you would be more so, even if you did wear a wig, you would be more so into wearing the natural one so that it didn't look foreign to your face. But you want to replicate because that man is out there saying that he want this, that, and the third. Come on now. It wasn't a whole bleaching epidemic and stuff for nothing. So, those are my thoughts, y'all. I ain't paying these Manospheric folks no attention. It is what it is. The stats was in. That's why you're seeing the rise of the single lonely male. You see these folks trying to go overseas and they getting lined up because them women really don't really want them like that. They get lined up, periods. And all this, the nerd, they didn't never wanted the nerd. When you got girls that is melanated that like anime and all the rest of that stuff too. So let's knock it off. Knock it off. That is just a total, they just looking for women to take accountability for anything. Certain stuff, yeah, you could take accountability for. But don't make up taking accountability for stuff that you don't even have control or access for. Like, come on.